What's up, everyone? Welcome to Point Taken. My name is Alex Martin. Joining me is Andrew.
Hey, Alex. Thank you for having me.
This is our video game podcast. We also have a movie podcast called The Final Frame, which you can find on iTunes. You can submit your questions to podcast@apdaily.com. A few housekeeping notes. PAX West, also probably known as PAX Prime, is next week, so the show might be delayed a day or two. Anyways, let's just kind of start the show off. Both you and I have been playing Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. What are your general thoughts, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm about 3 hours into it, so these are our initial thoughts more than a full review because I need more time to digest it. But I like it so far. I think it's going to do the Deus Ex thing of giving you a story that seems interesting but then never goes anywhere, and it's kind of just boring. Something like you'll wrap up the small plot and then they'll introduce like a big thing at the end. And I'm like, okay, I already did that with Human Revolution. I can't believe it's been 5 years since Human Revolution already. But yeah, other than that, like I'm playing it on PC, max settings. It looks beautiful. It looks pretty good. You know, some characters look better than others. And mechanically, I like it. I mean, it's more Deus Ex. I mean, they definitely took a lot from Human Revolution and ran with it. Again, Alex and I were talking off air about a character that you meet early on, and I just met him for the first time. So, yeah, I'm not super far into it, but yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. I like that aesthetic, and I like Adam Jensen, even though he kind of is that guy talking character. I never asked for this.
You kind of get used to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was annoying to me at first. I'm almost there. I'm like at the last chapter, and I've been playing it for a couple of days. But I think the design, changing it from just a black and gold aesthetic, which we kind of talked about before, to a more bluish design, which
it has more color to it, definitely.
But I wonder if that doesn't work in the favor, because I'm already getting to the point where. Have you gotten to the point where they talk about augmented lives matter? And have you gotten to that point?
No, I haven't. I mean, I haven't gotten to that specific campaign slogan being commonly mentioned, but it's definitely a theme that is hammered to you. Like, the opening, there's that, they take you through a security checkpoint, and you could definitely see how augs are treated compared to humans without the When we talk about augs, we mean augmentations in the Deus Ex world. What happens in that world is that augmentations are readily available now, so you can augment your body and put a metal arm on something and things like that. So people that have those augmentations are treated differently than others, and like Alex mentioned, it tries to hammer on themes of racism and segregation and things like that. So I haven't got hit over the head too hard with it, but it's definitely an element that's been there already.
So yeah, it takes place 2 years after Human Revolution. As someone who didn't complete Human Revolution and kind of just stopped, I wonder if I'm actually going to do the same thing with Mankind Divided in a weird
interesting.
way.
Yeah, if you haven't completed Human Revolution, don't worry, because there's a long as heck
20-minute intro.
20-minute introduction that goes through. The best part is it goes through a lot of the cutscenes of Human Revolution, but then it'll basically cut to gameplay from Human Revolution, which is great too, because you can see how far technology's advanced. But it's like Adam Jensen going behind cover and it shows you the prompts of like moving between cover and stuff in this recap video. It's funny. But yeah, it does a good job catching you up. It's a lot of information to dump on you in 20 minutes, but it does a good job getting you caught up to where this world is.
Yeah, I would say the bigger complaint right now is there's really no boss fights up until the final boss fight, which I'm now approaching.
It's interesting, because one of the big things about the last one, people did not like the boss fights. They were not fans of the boss fights, so I think Eidos was like, maybe we'll tone down the boss fights by not having any.
No, I mean, I think it works for some players, but in Human Revolution, you couldn't go through the game without killing a boss, or if you were trying to be stealthy, you had to pick your opponents very wisely. So there is an achievement for this one where in Mankind Divided, where you can go through the entire game this time, not just one boss fight. But when you get to the final boss fight, you don't really get that practice of knowing how
Yeah,
the boss works and
yeah.
how he strategizes. But instead, it's really just sitting back, using your sniper. At this point, you should get a sniper, or even a rocket launcher at that point. Uh, and I was enjoying it up to a certain point because I was waiting for them to like take a stand on anything. It kind of just seems like they're just throwing controversial racial subjects that we kind of see on the today's news, like racism, like Black Lives. I do like the touch of having augmented lives matter and have that be the surrogate that we talk about racism and uh,
Mhm.
sci-fi has always been a great platform for that. Like some of the greatest books.
Which is a shame too, because like that really like it's a theme that's been talked about in games before, but it is still a prevalent one, and I think that besides some shady marketing that happened before the game release, I think that it could be an interesting thing to focus on in your game. And I agree with you. Deus Ex does a lot of talking, but they have nothing to say, which is such a shame because again, I'm only about 3 hours into it, so
Yeah,
it's upsetting more that Alex, who's close to the finishing of the game, that it never really goes anywhere.
yeah. I'm trying not to spoil it for you, but like, um, I never felt like if you picked a side or you had like a option B. If you chose option B, the platform that you were staying on was going to be totally different than someone else. So I felt like they didn't really know how to. They kept on aiming for a general player, and the game kind of suffers because of that. And it makes the story really stale because of that. I mean, I love how the game is designed. It's very much a smaller experience. Just sneaking through laboratories, just sneaking through smaller spaces compared to Human Revolution, which, from what I remember, it was a very big well, player room that you can basically walk around.
Oh yeah, definitely. And not only that, but the story was expansive because what I've heard, another thing I've heard about Mankind Divided is that well, Prague is a decent size and you go to like two separate sections of Prague, like it doesn't have anything in comparison to like, Shanghai in the last game, which was a city built upon on top of another city. And that in alone is a really cool, striking sci-fi like idea, and nothing like that's in this game, which is also upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling they were going to scale it back. Uh, it takes place right after a bombing incident, so um, I don't know if they were aiming for Boston for perhaps or in that general area. It just um, it is a very much a vanilla because there's a certain point where you cross the third chapter or fourth chapter where uh, the game they were designing changes so dramatically. It feels like it's a second game after a certain point. Um, Side quests don't seem to have the value or power that they used to. There's a certain mob boss that you have the option of dealing with, or you could possibly just avoid the side quest, but none of that side quest material pops up again, um, which is a shame because I thought the side quest storylines were actually some of the best in the game, which is something you hear a lot, but uh, that's mostly because the main campaign is just not that strong. Um, as someone who didn't finish the first one, it feels like it's still following that same beats. What what makes a human today, and how far do you really go about being augmented? That's kind of the story they were trying to tell, but it seems like they don't really know how to tackle it still. Um,
Yeah, that aside, though, I think the core of Deus Ex is still very fun. I think that what they allow you to do, whether you want to play the game stealthily or go in guns blazing, is still great. And I think that, they give you options to approach something. Hey, this gate is locked. You can go through this vent. You can find a way through the rooftops. You can bribe a police officer and go that way. And I think that that gameplay loop is good. Combat, okay. I mean, depending on how you play. I mean, like I play Deus Ex more of as a stealth game than I play it as an action game. So in that aspect, I like it. As an action game, I think some of the things are clumsy. But other things I think are great. I also don't like that every time you try to melee somebody, you go into this little canned animation. I think it takes you out of the game and it takes a little while.
Yeah, like an FOV event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it takes a little while, and I'm like, yo, 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 because I play stealth, so I want to melee a lot of people, and it's like, oh, here's another 5 second video of you stealthily knocking somebody out. I'm like, okay, just keep it in first person and knock these guys out, please.
Yeah, I also played stealth. I feel like that was kind of like the backbone the game was designed on. Um, I would say the stealth in the game, it was a little bit confusing at first because the stealth bar on the bottom left needs time to recharge, or you can uh, inject yourself with these stealth minerals that allow you to have extra hit points or special attacks, or in that degree, um, which is cool and it's fine. But like they don't really explain that to the player day one. So I had a little bit of a trouble issue understanding what was going on with the stealth, but once you get a handle of it, it's really rewarding. Um, I found myself not attacking any bodyguards because I tend to spec out. I didn't spec any health points, so as soon as they saw me, I was just wiped. Um,
Yeah, for sure. And that's the great thing about Deus Ex is it gives you your way to play. If you want to go that combat route, there are a lot of unique, fun combat abilities and some new ones that were added for this game that work well for you. If you want to spec in defense or I mean stealth, you could do that as well. So I like that aspect. I like the mechanics that are in the game. I think that it's a big world. Like Alex said, like for me, the story hasn't gone anywhere, and it's sad to hear Alex and other people that I've talked to say it doesn't really pan out. But overall, what is here is a good package. You just have to really know that. Well, it might be light on story. If Human Revolution was something you liked, definitely check it out. Or if you are a fan of, those longer, stealth, like making choices and in conversations and things like that. Although your choices, they matter, but only to an extent, nothing too crazy.
yeah, there is a season pass, which is kind of odd because they haven't revealed any of the content coming with it. So, uh, for me, it feels a lot like a bridge to a full sequel that we're going to get pretty soon. Um, Even though what's here is really good, it's the stealth of the story is hit or miss. But if you're looking for something that's uh, it is AAA, but like if it has a lot of depth to it, and it it definitely presents all these questions.
Yeah, and I agree. And the season pass is a real piece of crap. It's like 5,000 coins, like 1,000 weapon parts, which are something that you upgrade, 4 practice kits,
Yeah,
more packs, 5 booster packs, and 20 chipsets for the breach mode, and 2 new story DLCs called System Rift and a Criminal Past, and those will be available through at the main menu. There's like a little stories thing. If you pre-ordered the game, I think you got one about like Jensen something. I haven't played it yet, but yeah, again, it's a good game. Like it is a solid game, and I like Human Revolution, so I'm liking my time with Mankind Divided. But I just don't know if, especially with a lot of games coming out in Q3, Q4, like, is this something that I'm going to think about towards the end of the year? And I don't think it will be, which is a shame because I really liked the first one and I'm enjoying my time with this one.
yeah. This is definitely a wait until it's on Steam sale. Not to say it's a bad game, but just I would wait until it's in your price range. You don't need to. It's not a must-have.
Yeah, definitely. Agree.
Uh, yeah. Football season is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, it is.
You're busy coaching for which college?
Rhodes College.
And you're the offensive line coach.
Mhm.
Okay. What's your team? Just curious. I think you're the Jets.
My professional team is the Jets, but let's not talk about that.
Come on.
Yeah,
You
no, yeah, we're the Jets. Are they any good in? Wait, segue. Are they any good in Madden NFL 2017?
you could have done that much more segue proof, but yeah. So I've been playing a lot of Madden. We're pretty much big football fans here. I'm a Chargers fan. Andrew is a Jets fan. Um, it's a shame he stole LT, but okay. Uh, uh, do you play Madden at all, or is it something that you go back to?
When I was younger, I played Madden a lot, buying it every year. I reviewed it a few years for other outlets, and last year I bought it. I have not bought this year's, which came out a couple days ago, but maybe I will buy this year's, depending on how it is. Alex, how is it?
If you played Madden 16, there's a lot of the new additions uh, are worthy of you picking it up. Just because I think the zone defense in Madden has always it's not always been its strong point. Uh, a lot of the times, and especially in last year's version, aggressive catches and spectacular catches were being somewhat overused in online play, and that's something they've toned down significantly. So if you throw a ball into double coverage or triple coverage, which you should get penalized for and probably get an interception for, uh, that definitely is the feeling now with Madden. Is there is that I feel like this is the best balanced Madden with offense, defense, and special teams. Um, in previous Maddens, you couldn't attempt the Saints and Colts onside kick during the Super Bowl. You couldn't do those like little moments that will catch off or catch the team off guard. So the big thing with the Madden 17 is how they've reworked the third phase of the game, um, and I'm seeing a lot more, especially online. Players are willing to now uh, go on fourth down, uh, not give the ball back to the special teams because a lot of the times if you break a tackle or you hit the open gun, uh, you can easily get a touchdown and you're easily down 14 points instead of just being down 10 points uh, by the first half. So there's a lot more of that strategy between the offense and defense that you didn't really need to worry about before. Um, um, the if you play Ultimate Team, it's very much the same experience.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there. Most of the changes, if you're someone who doesn't pick up Madden too often, I think this is probably the best supercharged version because normally EA uh, leaves the best for the after they or does like a special edition. This kind of feels like a special edition to me because uh, I feel like they're going to have a new engine coming out pretty soon. I know that NHL is tweaking their engine, FIFA is tweaking theirs. Um, so this feels like it's the uh, culmination of working on the game for year after year after year, listening to fans, understanding what needs to be added. Um, I think in the first time in like 5 years, we can finally edit players in franchise mode, which is
Oh,
something.
interesting.
Yeah, like you couldn't you know edit a eighth round draft pick.
Yeah, my thing with Madden all these years is that it's fun for like 1 week, and then you find whether it's through Twitter or your buddies talking to you or things like that, or you playing, you find like a certain handful of plays that work very well. And Madden, while they do a good job with roster updates and things like that, they don't really patch a lot of things. So like if you find a play that's really really good, unlike a fighting game or like Overwatch or something, EA is not coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, we nerfed HB toss crack," because it's just not the way they operate. So, like that's how what happens when I play Madden is, it's like I play Madden for a week, then I'm like, oh, the Patriots playbook is really good once again, and the 46 defense is unstoppable. So then I set those to my default, and the game's a little bit less fun. That's why I always do random teams and stuff when I play. But it's always fun to play with a buddy, and if you like football, there's not really any other options for a football game. So
Yeah, Madden has the
yeah,
exclusive license for another 10 years.
yeah, I
Uh,
think so from
so
2K.
2K, I would say they have I mean, NBA Live is doing their own thing,
No, yeah,
but
2K is way better. It's yeah, they just do such a good job with that game, especially with the story mode. 2K16 story mode was awesome.
but in terms of randomizing the teams, EA has kind of addressed that problem with Draft Champions and Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team it's definitely focused on you spending money on the microtransactions, which I understand why it's there and it's a really big mode. But if you're not interested in any of that, Draft Champions is a nice sit down mode where you can pick your fantasy lineup and then just go head to head against someone online. So I think that's a great middle ground that EA has striked. Uh, Draft Champions is also the esports mode that they tend to promote. I saw that during E3 when they were uh, holding their big Super Bowl trophy, whatever you want to call it, Madden trophy. Um, so they're making a lot of great attempts. Peter Moore is now leading the esports division uh, at EA Sports. So it's going to be curious to see how other games like NHL, especially FIFA, have built-in esports features. Um, and yeah, they this time around they have a new commentary booth or pair. Uh, Duo's all right. They're replacing Phil Simms and uh, which is when you're replacing like two of the great commentators on football you hear every Sunday on CBS. There's definitely that downgrade, and the same problem still applies. Where if you like playing, if you play multiple games of Madden or in a franchise mode, you tend to hear the same lines pop up uh, very frequently, which means that I assume that they probably record these lines very late in the game because if it's the same writing from last year and it's also um, nothing much is like there's no chemistry between the two between the pair this time around, which has been the complaint about Madden since well probably since I've been reviewing them. Um, but yeah, if you're it is a shame though to bring up to your point though that we don't have another competitor in the market. Um, I know that in a couple years ago that 2K did have a football game. It was like All Pro Legends, um, and it did have the players like Joe Montana. Like it had these fantasy lineups with these customizable teams and it was a really big hit. I wonder why they couldn't that couldn't come back again, considering how well that was received. Uh, but I imagine that was probably the player union striking some chord there.
For sure, and things like that happen. Modes get entered, modes get added. Like Tiger Woods 14 had an extraordinary thing, Masters moments, where you got to play through all the Masters, and it was such a great freaking mode. And then they took it away for 2015, and then they made Roy McIlroy PGA Tour. Yeah. Again, you like football; it's really your only option. Best played with your buddies. Hopefully the servers are better. Madden servers always give me and my buddy a hard time. Like sometimes they work perfectly, other times they don't. It's a shame, but yeah, Madden. Another year, another Madden.
Yeah, yeah. The EA Sports is never going to stop making Madden, including FIFA. But yeah, if you're interested in if you're a big football fan, I definitely recommend it. This is probably a good year to pick it up. The community seems far more engaged than last year, which is kind of surprising because I thought last year was a little bit more surprising, um, but yeah, you can find our review on the site right now. Uh, what else have you been playing, Andrew?
Yeah, the biggest thing I've been playing, beside is some mobile stuff. I've been on the go a lot, so I picked up both Deus Ex Go and Reigns. Deus Ex Go is the newest game in the Go franchise, which Hitman Go and Lara Croft Go came before it. Really, really great games. They're a little bit puzzly. They're a little bit, they're great. They're pick up and play. You do a message or two, and it's great. And they add a bunch of different abilities because of the augments, like in Deus Ex Mankind Divided. So I still think Lara Croft Go is my favorite, but I'm really liking my time with Deus Ex Go. And then the other game I've been playing is Reigns, another game published by Devolver Digital, our 2015 developer publisher of the year. And it's great. You play as a king, and simple choices. You either swipe right or left. And depending on what's going on in your kingdom, it'll give you different options. So it's like, and you'll have 4 categories that you have to monitor: religion, money, the people, so and your army. And depending on your decisions, some of those bars will go up, other bars of those will go down. Sometimes they all go up, sometimes they all go down. You can't let anyone diminish, and you can't let anyone go like to 100%. So it's an interesting balance of trying to keep everybody in tow and try to flux them, because if you make something like, hey man, we need to build more churches, you say, yeah, sure, your religion will go up, but your money will go down, and things like that. But they throw in so many cool, fun, quirky twists. There's a dog, and it's just really, really fun. And it's like a deck of cards. And when you meet new characters and when you make different certain decisions, more cards get added to the deck. So the next time you have a run, those characters will show up and those decisions will matter. And it's just really, really fun, unique. One of my biggest things for mobile games for me personally is I like games that I can pick up and play for 5-10 minutes and then put them aside and feel like I have had a good experience. And Reigns is perfect for that. So I highly recommend Reigns. Really, really good.
Has this taken the mantle for handheld game for you, away from Pokemon Go?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Niantic's making some stuff for Pokemon Go, and making it a little bit better, but I'm kind of waned off Pokemon Go. Like many people, you see the charts of Pokemon Go users, and it's down drastically over the last couple weeks. But yeah, it's great. I mean, it's fun. I also installed it on my PC because I just wanted it at home too, and it's just really, really great. And it's funny. It makes you scratch your head. It's just, they do such a good job, and it's simple. It's simple. Anybody can play it. And I'm a huge fan of it. One of my favorites of the year, actually. That's Reigns, and I think it's like $1.99, $2.99 on the App Store, and on Steam. So you're not going to get gouged for price just because it's on a computer.
Yeah, but on the App Store, that's $1.99 or $2.99 price. It is a premium game, so I wonder.
Oh yeah.
I do wonder what does it have any micro to it?
No, but they said that they're thinking about they want to expand it. So maybe it's more characters or more scenarios or things like that, because because the response has been really good to it. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Does it have like a Tinder swipe right, swipe left?
Yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Like, oh, you think this dog's attractive, huh? Swipe right. No, yeah, it's exactly that. You swipe right, swipe left, and watch those bars and make sure you monitor them, and then you'll get like a cool little summary of how long the reign of that king lasted, because a lot of them are gonna die. How long they lasted, like what was his title. And like you'll learn new things as you go on, like I had one king that was on a crusade for a long time. So the game switches up completely, and makes you take like different mechanics and different choices for while you were on a crusade. And then that king was assassinated, but, it's great. It's great. And it creates like these little stories. So each one of your kings, are there and stuff. So it's fun. That's Reigns.
Yeah. So you could say he Titanfall Bad pun. But anyways, Titanfall 2 had its first open beta last week. Um, what were your takeaways from it? I was kind of curious what your thoughts are.
Yes. Titanfall 2, it's interesting. I enjoyed Titanfall 1. My biggest complaint with it was that I played it for about 2 weeks and I felt like I got everything that I personally wanted out of Titanfall. And, this is nothing new. People have that criticism about Titanfall 1. And, also the player progression wasn't too great. Like, you weren't being rewarded for continuously leveling up. I think Titanfall 2, although it was just a technical test, I think there's another one this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
Um, I like it, but I think I might have the same problem with it in a sense that the gameplay is solid. It's still fun getting on a Titan or hijacking a Titan and things like that, but I feel like I don't know how much the game will continuously get me back. They're doing some more unique things though, like the more you use a gun, the more that gun levels, and you'll have better upgrades for it, sights and clips and perks and things like that. So I think the progression problem's fixed. I know people were online complaining that it's too slow. They said, "Hey, you made your game more like Call of Duty. Congratulations." I feel like I'm missing a little bit of the speed that was in Titanfall 1. So they already said they're going to tweak it for the second technical test, so I'll see if it's any better. But yeah, I mean, it's just I want to see what new they have, because these Titans I've seen before. I've played this type of game before. Apparently Titans are going to have swords and things like that. So I want to see the new mechanics, but it seems to me right now that this is a game that I'll probably rent, play through the single player campaign, because these guys at Respawn were old Infinity Ward who, did Call of Duty and Medal of Honor and all that good stuff. Fun single player FPS campaigns. So, so I'll play through the single player. I don't know how long I'll play.
Yeah. I had online issues with it. Like, it just kept on breaking down with me. And this is a open beta, and it was a technical beta just to stress the servers before it releases in October, which, again, it feels odd that Titanfall 2 is releasing this winter. There's a 100 different great shooters that are coming out just in the fourth quarter. Now, in general, I don't like actually playing betas because it spoils the experience when you first get the game. When it's finally completed, when it's gone through all the patches. I felt like when Titanfall 1 came out and they had the big beta a month before its release, it kind of spoiled the big event when you first get you kill everyone, you get your first Titan, you're jumping in, and that is a great moment to have. Like, just to have that ability to jump into a mech and continue the action. It's an amazing feat when you first see it, but betas in general, like, they ruin the moment when you first jump in and experience the game for yourself, especially when it's not polished. So I kind of stayed away from betas, especially closed betas. Closed betas tend to be for press, but I tend to stay away from those experiences because I just want it to be not magical. I just want it to be fully what the developers and the publishers fully envisioned.
Yeah, man, I can totally understand that. I'm definitely that way more towards single player games, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, We Happy Few is a great example. Like, I didn't really watch that E3 trailer intently because I'm like, man, I want to play We Happy Few. It looks like a great game. And then it turns out to be like a survival game. And I'm like, not really my cup of tea. But, definitely games that are very story driven and stuff like that. Like, I played the demo for BioShock 1 and I was like blown away. I was like, wow, this is awesome. This game is so cool. And then when BioShock came out, you replay that section and you're like, okay, it's still great. But it's like, that the plane crash, like getting to the lighthouse, seeing oh my god, Rapture for the first time and things like that, they're diminished a little bit because you've done it for the first time already.
Totally.
So yeah, so But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm interested to see what they change in the second technical test. And like I said, I'll probably definitely check it out, if only for the single player. Hopefully that component's, well fleshed out and tells a interesting story, interesting enough story, because the universe can be cool.
I mean, I hope it's tongue in cheek. I mean, I hope it's not taking anything seriously. It does has Optimus Prime as the voice, so you can't go wrong with Optimus. Um, I, as someone who loves Gundam and loves 20 feet or 20, you get the point. It's I just love mechs, so I have a feeling I'm gonna pick it up. But um, the like you brought before about Titanfall 1, it's curious what D1 is going to look like in terms of content. Are we going to get, horde mode? Are we going to get the season pass content for Titanfall 1 day one? So there's lot of like little things that I'm curious about how this game is shaping up. And if they do delay it, like if they have to delay this game again, not again, I don't think it got delayed, but if they have to delay it to February or even March, I'm totally down for that. I'm totally down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting. I think I don't want to say it'll help them, but like they're coming out in such a weird time where there's so many big, high-profile first-person games that I hope they don't get lost in that kerfluffle, because I want Respawn to have a hit. I want that studio to do well, and I want Titanfall to do well. But when you have Battlefield 1 a week before it and Call of Duty Infinity Warfare or whatever, Infinite Warfare, the week after, it's real tough to, sandwich another first person shooter in there. So it's tough. I hope it does well. It'll be interesting to see what the sales of it are. But
yeah,
I don't know. I haven't really seen anything of it on TV at all, too, like advertisements and things like that. So it'll be interesting.
yeah. It's kind of odd that EA is sacrificing, or not sacrifice, but damaging two of their top premier shooters. Battlefield 1 is releasing in the fall calendar. That's again in October. It's around that same time period. Um, I just I and you have to wonder that, like, because there's so much money going to one game or another, it kind of splits the audience about what are you gonna play
Oh,
day one.
exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly. Or not only that, but it's like Battlefield 1, you pick that up, and then a week later, Titanfall comes out, and you have to make a decision.
Yeah,
And EA knows this because EA is publishing both those games. It's, hey, are these players going to stick with Battlefield 1, which I assume they will because Battlefield's a very big franchise, or are they going to spend another $60 and take time and player base away from Battlefield 1 to jump on Titanfall? It's an interesting conundrum to have, because unlike something where, like my buddy goes, man, why do games schedule themselves so weird? Like Mad Max came out the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5. It had no way to survive. I'm like, well, Mad Max is a different enough game than Metal Gear Solid 5, but I think Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, while they all bring something different to the table, they are similar enough that you are definitely taking audience members away from one for the other. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, like I said, I hope it does well, but I have a feeling it might get delayed again, or like pushed maybe to like December, or it might just get washed in the wayside where maybe a week or two it gets a lot of buzz and then it fades away. But
yeah. This unlike the first time, it's coming out for PlayStation 4. I believe it came out for PC. So yeah, it did. So it's coming out for PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox One. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm definitely, as a just as a market watch, curious about how it's going to perform though. Speaking of the market, let's kind of just jump into the news. In terms of the news, it's mostly just Sony news. If you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, be warned. Starting on September 22nd, prices are going to raise 20% to $60. So this is the first time that a price increase has happened since the launch in 2010. So it's been about 6 years. So this puts it on par with Xbox Live in terms of price per price. How how often do you use your PlayStation Plus account? Just curious, Andrew.
Oh, all the time. I think PlayStation Plus is a very good, value for what you're getting as of now. Even at $60, it sucks that it's going up $10, and that's always a disappointment. But at the same time, PlayStation gave over $1,000 worth of games for free to PlayStation Plus members. Sure, some of them were for PlayStation 3 and some of them were for PS Vita and some of them were PlayStation 4, and you might not like some and stuff like that, but it doesn't mean that they didn't give them away. And it's a shame that one of the biggest selling points of PlayStation back when I played PlayStation, well, I still play PlayStation, but when I started playing PlayStation Online, was that it was free. It was cool, to just plug in an Ethernet router to my modem, and jump on Final Fantasy 11 for PlayStation 2, although that required a monthly subscription. Or, play SOCOM 2 back in the day on PlayStation 2, and even PlayStation 3 was free for a long time. And then they started charging, and it sucked, but, you got value out of it. And then it made the industry change. I mean, we would not have Xbox Gold games for Gold without PlayStation Plus doing what they did by offering, good content. Some of the months are better than others, but I think that you're still getting a lot of free games out of it. And, Tricky Towers, one of last month's free games, was a great little Tetris type game. So it always sucks when things get more expensive. I canceled my EA Access account because that went up a couple bucks, and I was like, I don't use EA Access enough to continue paying the 30 something dollars a year now to do it. And Xbox Live is another one where I look at it and I'm like, $60 a year. I haven't played Xbox Live in a long time, so it's like I'm paying for something I'm not using. But I use PlayStation Plus. I'll continue to use PlayStation Plus. I think that the games that they offer are cool. Like, it's a cool incentive, and I always download them just in case I want to go back and play those games. But yeah, it sucks that it's $10 more.
Yeah, you normally find indie games on PlayStation Plus. It's very convenient for them to have a big market push on PlayStation Plus. It's easy for everyone to get it in their hands, and people start talking about it. The biggest PlayStation Plus game, probably by far, is Rocket League.
Oh yeah.
That got its name out and that game just kind of just grew from there. I don't know if people are still playing today, but
oh yeah, it's huge, and they have a new mode coming out soon that gives you like power ups and stuff.
Yeah, like, I don't think if Rocket League was a $20 title without PlayStation Plus, I doubt it would have become the sensation that it was last summer. I mean, it was a huge hit.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that it definitely amplifies it because it is on a stage that it's like, hey man, it's like, okay, cool man, cool. Yeah, but hopefully we get more free, cool, great games, and that $60 is justifiable.
So PlayStation is holding a media event in New York on September 3rd. For the most part, PlayStation 4 Neo will be there, and PlayStation Slim. PlayStation Slim was leaked on the internet as soon as it got announced, or as soon as the media invites went out. It is the smaller PlayStation 4. Price point's not revealed yet. That will happen at the event.
Yeah, but you assume it's going to be cheaper because if what everybody expects to happen, and they also announced the PlayStation Neo, which is their upgraded version in a line with like the Xbox Scorpio, then a cheaper PlayStation 4 would be very, approachable for people that don't have a PlayStation 4, just like the Xbox One S is. So. It seems like it'll be cheaper. It looks the same. I mean, it looks similar. I mean, they got rid of the touch capacitive buttons on the front, which is a nice welcome addition. No optical for audio, so upgrade to those HDMI cables, boys. Yeah, other than that, 500 gigs, just like the base model had. And nothing really too crazy about it. I mean, honestly, the biggest thing about this is the story behind it, and it's just sense that it, quote unquote, fell off a truck. And somebody tried to sell it on a Craigslist type thing over in the UK. And then, slowly the guy was like, no, show me that it's real. And then slowly through that, we figured out that, oh, this thing is real. And then Eurogamer, our buddies over there, they went to the person's house and booted it up and everything to see that it was real. So unless it's all a big elaborate fake, it makes sense that this will definitely be announced as well, because Sony's probably going to do something in a sense that it's like, oh, hey, there's a slimmer PlayStation and it's out today. That's something they'll do at the event.
I mean, I imagine that's probably going to happen, since the PlayStation Slim is probably more in line with, it's more in tune with the PlayStation VR. I assume that's what's going to happen, is you see those two, you see a future bundle happening for that.
Yeah.
So the other kind of news that came out of that was the same guy that leaked the PlayStation 4 Slim reportedly said that PlayStation's working on a handheld. So another Vita of sorts.
Oh, yeah. Vita 2.
I mean, he hasn't been wrong on Neo. He hasn't been wrong on Slim.
Yeah, it's funny because, it just says it's the same company that has the patent for Nintendo. So it could be something like the controller that the NX is rumored to have too. Like, we don't know exactly what it is, but I highly doubt Sony makes another portable console.
I mean, in the long term, PlayStation Vita has been profitable. It did lose a lot of money in its early years, and a lot of
great handheld. I love my PlayStation Vita. It has some real good games on it, especially ones that you got from PlayStation Plus, which we were just talking about. You got really good games on there. It's just they didn't support it for long enough, which was a shame.
Yeah, it was. They had a big problem with when it launched. It had Uncharted Golden Abyss, which showcased how good the platform was.
Yeah,
but not a lot of developers could hit that high mark.
No.
Gravity Rush
Persona 4 Golden is the best version of Persona to play, so just go play that again. That's good shit. That's a good game. Real good game.
That's coming to the Vita, I believe. It should, but
that's where you play Persona 4. It's only on
I'm talking about Persona 5.
Oh, Persona 5.
I imagine there's going to be
eventually, maybe Persona 5 Golden. I mean, it's scheduled for PS3, PS4 right now. But yeah, it might get way on. I don't know how. Maybe it's too intensive, but I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't think a Vita 2's in their cards, but Sony surprised me before, so we'll see. But yeah, man, cool.
All right, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Andrew, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ASGazito426, and as always, you can find me on VPDaily.com.
You can find me on Twitter at AlMartin. Once again, we'll be at PAX West on September 1st through the 5th.
PAX West.
Yeah. So we might have another PAX West special episode like we did with Gamescom. So keep your ears out for that. See what I did there. But anyways, you can. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week for another episode. Thanks again.